In the late 19th century, early 20th century, all the way up to the 50s, sideshows were very popular. I remember as a kid going into the sideshows, and they were always kind of interesting. You know, the two-headed calf and the 13-toed goat or whatever it might be. And perhaps there'd be a mummy, and that would really be a draw. Mummies have been a curiosity for we humans for as long as we knew they were around. If you had a real Egyptian mummy, you had a sideshow. If you didn't, you could get some embalmed individual.
Ron believes Sylvester was embalmed professionally and put on display. But a sideshow operator then acquired the body and took it on the road to make some cash.
But if he goes on the road, he has to have a great story. It can't be just, you know, a college professor, because who would come see them? So it has to have this story. It's a card thief. And he was shot in the stomach and died in the desert sand. Ooh, I want to go see that.
People are going to come into the sideshow, put their quarter down, and then touch a gunfighter. Wow, that's pretty incredible for a quarter.
Few tales tap into the American psyche better than that of a gunfighter in the Old West.
When we look at the number of television shows, popular movies right well into the 21st century that deal with this subject, the number of romantic novels, it almost is the backdrop to everything we are. This is our identity as Americans, regardless of where we live. In some way, we all have that little bit of cowboy in us.
In Sylvester's own lifetime, that Old West identity was already fading, to be replaced by industrialization and the growth of large cities. Opportunists like Buffalo Bill created an industry commercializing the cowboy myth. And legends like Sylvester have been a massive moneymaker ever since.
He is part of the reason we see the West as the gunslinging, lawless place where Doc Holliday's shooting people up everywhere, because that's the story we gave Sylvester. Whether it's the true story or not, didn't matter. What mattered is, how do you get people in the sideshow? He was a gunslinger. He was shot right here, and he died a terrible death in the Old West. And that's how they sold him. And he became the mythology of the good old days in the Old West.
But can the team uncover evidence proving the sideshow theory? It all comes back to the hole in Sylvester's belly.
This is supposedly where he was shot. A bullet went in there. But when Ron and I looked at it, it looked too circular. So now when we put the endoscope in, we see that there's this spiral pattern.
All right, we're inside.
Oh, Ron.
You see the spirals.
There are spirals.
Okay.
What could have caused that spiral pattern? A drill, a manual drill. We actually drilled a hole through wood with this, went with the endoscope, and we saw almost exactly the same spiral pattern in the wood. Let's see if it fits. And I can't just push it in, I've got to kind of screw it in, because that's how it would have gone in, and it fits perfect. Exact fit. So Ron and I have looked at 7 sideshow mummies. All of them have fantastic stories, but you got to make the story believable. And if you take that 1/4 inch or 6mm drill, you poke the hole, you put a little red paint there, someone's going to come and look at this guy for a quarter.